Number 5.
Number 5 for me is DeVonta Smith out of Alabama, Heisman Trophy candidate. Should go in the first round, mid to late first round pick. I don't think, and look, for me and my money, I don't mind him being 6 feet, 170-something pounds, but my offensive coordinator, head coach, they have to know what to do with him. He's a special talent that can get lost in a traditional offense in the National Football League. Yes, weight is an issue for me because you can get bumped off your route, all of the timing. And can you withstand the hitting and the punishment of the bigger defensive players in the National Football League if you DeVonta Smith?
Number 4.
Here it is again. Number 4, Jaylen Waddle. A smaller, speedy, explosive wide receiver. Can do a lot of the same things Tyreek Hill can do. But guess what? Tyreek Hill has Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy as his coaches. They know exactly what to do with this young man. We've seen smaller guys come into the National Football League with explosive behavior, much like a Tavon Austin. Same sort of size.
Oh, boy.
High pick. Disappeared because teams did not know what to do with Tavon Austin, in particular the Los Angeles Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Now we're getting into size with me. Terrace Marshall, receiver out of LSU. Great hands, knows how to high point the football, go up and take it off of people's head. Not the fastest guy in the world, but an exceptional route runner like most of the LSU wide receivers. A 5-star candidate out of high school. So you know at every level he's been able to perform. Was an electric player with Joe Burrow a year ago. Spent some time being injured in and out of the lineup. If he stays healthy, I think he'll be much like his old classmate Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, really a special player in this league as a rookie.
Number 2.
Talking about number 2, Ja'Marr Chase, his teammate. We hadn't seen Chase in over a year play the receiver position, but when he dominated Clemson in the championship game, we certainly knew that he can do some things. This is a guy, measures about 6'1" and some change, but he can run. Exceptional athlete, not afraid to rough it up and get in there. Reminds me a lot of OBJ, has a lot of that in him. A lot of people would say, well, that's a lot to say. But I think when you look at this kid as a pass catcher, if he gets into the right offense and the right system, he's going to be a Pro Bowler for many years.
Number 1.
Now, number 1 is a pass-catching tight end, not an inline guy. But this is about not just receivers, but the guys who catch the football. When you think about Kyle Pitts, he's a nightmare mismatch for guys outside, meaning the safeties, the linebackers, people that they would deploy to cover him. Now, I don't think he's a traditional tight end by no stretch of the imagination. If you take him high in the draft, you certainly have to have an inline blocking tight end on your roster or go find one because he's a red zone nightmare for you. You're getting him to score points, to move the chains. He's not going to beat traditional corners like a Jalen Ramsey down the field. Jalen Ramsey can still battle with him at the line of scrimmage because of his length. He's going to dominate the smaller linebackers that's not as fast as him or the smaller defensive backs that's not as tall as him. But he's a pretty good pick. I just wouldn't select him in the top 4.
Key,
All right.
give me the best case scenario for Kyle Pitts and the worst case scenario for Kyle Pitts, and do that for Ja'Marr Chase too.
Well, I think the best case scenario for Kyle Pitts is to go forward to Miami. And the worst case for Kyle Pitts is probably slide down and have a Cincinnati Bengals, which is at 5, take him instead of Penei Sewell. And who was the other one?
Ja'Marr Chase.
Ja'Marr Chase can go pretty much to Miami, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati
Right,
makes
Joe
sense
Burrow,
because of
that
the
makes sense,
connection.
yeah, exactly.
But they need offensive
But
line.
they really need, they need
Penei
to
Sewell,
protect him better, and that's why you would go there. But the one constant in everything that you discussed in all 5 guys was situation. They've got to go to a place where the coach. We've seen so many times where it's the coach. This is my system. You have to fit my system. And I think we're at a place in all professional sports where it's more like, give me the ingredients and I'll figure out what I'm going to make for dinner.
Well,
and that's what, wherever these guys go, that's why we say you're a bust, not necessarily because you weren't a talent, but because of where you went.
You know why Steve Sarkisian is the head coach at the University of Texas right now? Because he understood who Henry Ruggs was, who DeVonta Smith was, who Jaylen Waddle. He understood Jared Jeudy. He understood Tua. He understood Najee Harris. Coaches have to understand that the talent is the key.
Yes.
You've got to know he's not capable of running this particular route. He's not capable of doing this. Instead of saying, well, he's an X. Well, he's not an X. X receivers are big. they're on the back side. Everything else is on the right. They're over there by themselves on the left side, the Lone Ranger. They've got to deliver at the X receiver. None of those guys, except maybe Terrace Marshall and Jamar Chase, can be a traditional backside X receiver, which is the alpha dog in most offenses. Smaller guys are the Z's, guys that have to move around, motion to get off of the line of scrimmage, because, again, disruption is key. If you're disrupting a guy and that timing at the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a nightmare. If you go back, the rule in the National Football League was put in because of one team on defense in the NFL in the playoffs. Evan, do you know who that team is? The 5-yard rule, do you remember that? If he's still with us, maybe he's not. But it was the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots against the Indianapolis Colts disrupted their wide receivers for many years, including the playoffs. And guess what happened? They changed the rule the next offseason because New England would just do them like that, just ragdoll and move them out of the way. And they would say, oh, they're holding me, they're holding me. No, they're just disrupting you. They're getting their hands on you so you don't get free access in a free release. If you allow these itty-bitties with this speed to get free access, they're going to run right past you. So you got to disrupt them. And the moment you disrupt them, they're in trouble.
And that takes the timing away from the play.
Takes the timing away from the play. The quarterback drops back. He hits the back foot. And he looks at the receiver. He gets off of him immediately because the guy is over there chicken fighting. You know, over there playing around.
Right, yeah, no, and that's, again,
Velcro.
Well, that's why we talked about this, because in this draft, there are a lot of compelling wide receivers.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.